Yo! What's up, guys? We are back. How is everybody doing? We are here with the official unveil of the Forbiddencraft 3.3 update. Now, this is actually the second time I'm recording this video, as there's actually a feature that I had to remove from this update that was in the first video. So I deleted the first one. We're now re-recording it. But even though I had to remove one of the features, I think you'll still be happy with what we got for this update. And the feature that I removed might come back in a later update if I can fix it. But that being said, we're here, we're hanging out, and we're going to be going over all of the features that will be coming soon in the Forbiddencraft 3.3 update. At this time, I do not have an official release date for this update, but it will be coming very soon. So that being said, I hope you guys will be looking forward to it. First things first, I want to go over... First of all, this update is known as the Builders Update, and pretty much the entire update is based around building. So, the first thing I want to go over, and I already did a video on this a little while ago, whenever I was teasing the Builders Update, and that is, we actually have a new Redstone item. I'm going to go over this new Redstone item very briefly, because I already did a full video on it, but we're going to start with this. So if we take a redstone torch, and we take 4 emeralds like this, and then 1 blaze powder in either side, it actually, you can put the blaze powder in these corners, or you can put it in these corners. So long as they're there, it'll still craft. You will get yourself a redstone proximity sensor. Now, with this redstone proximity sensor, you can place this down, and then by right-clicking on it, you will be given this menu here. It may take a couple tries the first time you use the proximity sensor to get the menu to pop up, but I have tested it with other players, and it does work. It's a little finicky the first time you use one, but then after that it should be pretty streamlined. But that being said, what this does is you can set it to a range anywhere between 1 and 10 blocks. By default, it's set to 5, and you can see you can bring that all the way up to 10, or you can drop it down to 1. But by default, it's set to 5. We're going to put it on 10. And then what that does is you can set a range for this proximity sensor, and you can also set what entities it's going to be detecting. You can have it set to detect the original person who placed that torch. You can have it set to detect all players. You can have it set to detect all hostile entities. You can have it set to detect all peaceful entities. You can have it set to detect all neutral entities. You can have it set to detect individual entities. For example, if I go in here, I get all of these menus, and you can actually go through all of the different entity types and select individual specific entities. If you wanted it to be, say, if you wanted to detect creepers and nothing else, you could do that using that. You can also detect dropped items, vehicles, projectiles, and even invisible entities. So, once you have it set to detect a specific entity at a specific range, right now it's detecting the owner of the torch and other players, because that's what it's set to by default. You'll see that I'm standing next to the torch, it's on, but if I walk away, we should see now it's off, because I went outside of 10 blocks. Now it's back on, And you can change that to, let's say, 4 blocks. You can see now it's off. And you can have this set to detect any of those entities that I listed, or even combinations of those entities. So this is a very useful redstone, potentially very useful redstone item, and I can't wait to see what you guys do with it. That being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to the rest of this update and what you can expect to find in the rest of this update. So moving right along, if we actually go back to redstone for a second, because that's actually not the only thing I changed with redstone. If we just grab a wide assortment of various redstone items, let's see. Let's see here. We'll just grab, a bunch of random redstone items. There we go. You will actually see that redstone items can now be placed in water. It'll actually get rid of water wherever you place it. And then if I break these, the water will fill back in. But redstone is now no longer broken by water. And you can see all of these items place just fine. It is important to note that only the wooden buttons and stone buttons work during this. Specifically the oak wooden buttons. If you use any of the other types of wood, for example, a jungle button, you'll see that it will still break. So if you want to have a wooden button underwater, you're going to need it to be oak. But the stone buttons work as well, so there you go. That being said, pretty much all of the redstone stuff, except for the spruce button, birch button, jungle button, acacia button, and dark oak button, pretty much all of the redstone items except for those will work underwater now. That being said, you can also place regular torches underwater now. So that's pretty cool. That being said, though, we're going to move right along to the next feature of this update. And that is going to be another little interesting thing we've done here. If I just grab, let's see, we'll grab some wool. Alright, we'll just place that down. Maybe we'll grab a bed. And we'll just throw this little guy down right here. Maybe we'll grab some terracotta. We'll just throw that down there. Maybe some concrete. Throw that down right there. You know what? Maybe we'll grab some glass and glass panes. Why not? If you haven't figured out where I'm going with this yet, you'll see soon enough. And you know what? Let's grab some carpet as well. So what you may notice, let's see. Let's grab some glazed terracotta as well. There we go. So what you may notice about all of these items that I've just placed, and there's probably a few that I forgot about, like concrete powder and a few others, I think. But what you may notice about all of these items that I just placed is that these are all items that are in the game that have different color variants of that item. And now, due to this update, if we just grab, let's see. If we just grab a bunch of these, let's see, there we go. Now, due to this update, anything that has a color variant, any block that has multiple color variants, you can now change the color of them just by right-clicking on them. It will instantly change the color of that object. Just right-click on them with some dye, and it will change the color of that object to that specific color, as you can see here. This works with all the dyes, and as far as I'm aware, all of the blocks that have multiple colors. So that is a nice little feature that we've added. But we actually have more with this whole right-clicking theme. If we grab some stone bricks, there we go. And we'll just place 3 of these stone bricks, like that. And let's grab a pickaxe. Doesn't necessarily have to be a diamond pickaxe, but we'll grab one. And let's grab some vines as well. You know, why not? You'll see all 3 of these stone bricks are normal. However, if I right-click on this first one with my pickaxe, you will see it is now cracked stone brick. And if I right-click on the side of this one, it doesn't work on the top. You have to do it from the side. With that, you will see it now becomes mossy stone brick. So you're now able to change stone bricks just by right-clicking on them with either a pickaxe or some vines. So there's, again, a nice little feature we've done there. That being said, moving right along, we also have some new crafting recipes. Now, in Minecraft normally, because this is the building update, or the builders update, in Minecraft normally, there are 3 mobs in which you spawn in by building them. And I think we all know what these mobs are. We have the Wither, the Iron Golem, and the Snow Golem. Well, the Wither is actually the feature that I removed from this update because I was having some difficulties with it. I was going to add a way to tame withers, and I was halfway done working with it, but for some reason there was a glitch where once you tamed them, you couldn't actually move them, and I couldn't figure out why that was happening. So maybe tameable withers might come in a future update, but we do have changes to both the Iron Golem and the Snow Golem. So if I just grab some of these real quick, you will see that now, if I pull up a crafting table, you can now craft spawn eggs for these golems. So we have an Iron Golem spawn egg, and then if I do this, you can now get a Snowman spawn egg. So both of these spawn eggs do work. I'm gonna spawn in the Snowman real quick just to demonstrate. And because we're in a desert, he's gonna take damage and die. But that's just to show that they do work. I'm not gonna spawn in the Iron Golem because I'd have to kill him afterwards, and killing them is kind of a pain in the ass, but you get the idea. They do work. You are able to craft those spawn eggs. But moving right along, we actually have 2 last things with this update. And I would say these 2 are probably the biggest changes. First and foremost, if I grab some emerald blocks, and I just kind of build like a, just a little thing here. Let's see, just like that. You may notice that's a very familiar looking structure. In fact, it's the same structure that you would use to build another portal. And if I build one of these, and then let's say we'll go way the hell over here, and we'll just, just build another one real quick. There we go. Alright, so we have one over there and one over here. Now, if we grab a redstone block, we're actually going to need a few of these. I'm in creative, so I only need one. But if we just kind of place those like that, and then we go all the way back to this one over here, and we place 2 redstone blocks just the same, you will see something special has happened. These 2 archways have now become linked, and if I walk through this one, I'm instantly brought over here, and if I walk back, I'm instantly brought to the location of this one. Now, as you can see, they work pretty well. They are very expensive to build, as you can see, but they work pretty well. And the thing about this is, you may be wondering, well, what happens if, let's say, I'm building one of these, and another player is building one of these? Well, so long as 2 players are not building these at the same time, they will not get interlinked. So you can see these ones have already been built, and if I build some more of them, let's see, if I just build some more of them, let's say we'll build one here, and we'll put the other one right here. There we go. Now we have 4 of these on the server. And you will notice that if I go through this one, it will always bring me to that one. It will never bring me to the other 2. And just the same, if I go through this one, it will always bring me to those 2. It will never bring me to those 2 there. And that's because it's based on the time frame in which they're built. So because this one was the first one built, it will automatically link up to whatever the next one that was built, which is this. And once 2 of them are linked, they cannot link to any other portals on the server. So these 2 are forever linked. Those 2 are forever linked. And they cannot link with each other. So long as 2 players are not building them at the same time, you won't have any link issues there. And even if you do, you can simply just break one of the blocks to disconnect it from the other one that it's linked to. So now these 2 are the only ones on the server. And you can see if I go through this one, it will not teleport me to the other one, because that's not the one it was linked to. So, that being said, we're going to call those the teleportation gateways that you can build now. And finally, we have one. Oh, we have a boss that spawned. That's kind of cool. Finally, one last thing for this update. And I actually don't know if this last feature is going to be fully finished by the time this update releases. Because this last feature of this update is actually something that I haven't worked on at all, which is very unusual. This last feature of this update is actually being worked on by Magic Carter, who hopefully will have it done in time for this update's release, but if not, it'll be shortly after. If we just kind of go down here, you will see we have this lovely little room down here. Nice big map of our area. You can see our entire town on here, which is nice. And you can see over here is the world spawn. Right about there is my house. There's the PvP arena. We are located right about here, underground. There's the golden lamb statue. You can see there, our entire little town here, and you can see it actually expands all the way up to this village. You can see over here is VK's house. There's another village over here if you look. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And we have our little turtle friend just swimming around. But this is actually going to be the trade room. And if I go into survival real quick, you'll notice I only have 9 levels right now. These trades will be based on how many levels you have. So, the way it's going to work is you can see right here, we see 64 mossy cobble for 1 level. So if I just stand here, and I press this, and I drop down, you'll see I get teleported back to the center of the room. I now have 64 mossy cobble, but my levels have gone down by 1. And you can see we're going to have a bunch of trades available here that are all going to work in the same fashion. However, not all of them are working right now, nor are they all finished yet. So this feature in particular, I don't know if this is going to be done in time for the release of this update, because I'm actually not working on this feature. I've entrusted Magic Carter to work on this, and so far he's done a very good job with it. I did tell him what trades to introduce into the shop, but as far as actually building it, it's been done by him, and to my knowledge, by him alone. But that being said, you can see we got some command block stuff going on down there. 64 bread for 3 levels. We got lava buckets. We got a bunch of different stuff that's going to be available here. We're even going to be having bedrock available here. You can see you can get 100 bedrock for 300 levels. Now that may seem like a lot, but bedrock is a potentially dangerous item, and that once you place it, you can't break it. So I had to make it kind of hard to get. And full disclaimer, if anybody actually grinds up this 100 bedrock and uses it for any sort of griefing purposes, the bedrock will be deleted. So just keep that in mind. If anybody griefs with this, I will come over and just break whatever you've used it to grief. So just keep that in mind. But that being said, so we have a bunch of different trades that will be available here once this is done. Again, I don't know if this is going to be done in time for the full release of this update. If not, it should be shortly after. But you can see that we got some nice stuff going on here. That is going to be the entire Builders update for Forbiddencraft. That is all of the features that we'll be releasing with this update. Again, Tameable Withers was going to be a feature of this update, but unfortunately I had some difficulties implementing that. I did add a way to tame them, as well as a new crafting item that would allow you to shoot wither skulls while riding them. But unfortunately, there was some sort of glitch that made it to where once you're riding one of them, you can't actually move anywhere, which obviously is a problem. So maybe I will fix that and implement it in a future update at some point. But nonetheless, I feel like we have a lot going on with this update. I think people will be pretty happy with it. That being said, again, if the store is not done in time, it will be done shortly after the update, I'm sure. But other than that, all of the other features are guaranteed to launch once this update releases. That being said, I hope you all enjoy what we've done with this update. If you want a more in-depth look at the new Redstone RPS torch, you can actually check out the previous update video where I went a bit more in-depth with the new Redstone item and what it's capable of. But that being said, we're going to wrap up here. So thank all you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, guys.